You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is crank time. Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. That right there is the Professor Casey. At Lucha Gringo. What's up, Case?
Hey guys, what's up? I have no concept of time. I've been doing too many podcasts lately. This is my 5th podcast in less than a week's period.
You are a man about town, and I got to say, I listened to your other podcast. I did the commentary track for Friday the 13th Part 4. It was very awesome. So if you guys are horror movie fans, you definitely have to check out some of the other stuff that Casey does. He is not just an encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge and lucha libre and all sorts of other fun stuff. He actually knows a shit ton about horror movies too.
And also, I am the best ball hair shaver spokesman that a person can ever ask for.
Oh, don't even start already. We got to talk to this hairy ball guy up here at Meefloaf. Meef, what's going on, brother? Can we actually hear you this week? Nope.
Nope. You don't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. It's funny.
Motherfucker.
It works fine for like 10 minutes in our prep before the show, and then the second we actually go to Meefloaf in the show, it's like, but that's all.
Oh, that's fantastic.
No, it sounds great.
Let's just press buttons.
No, it's good. Hold it closer to your mouth.
That up there is at Byron Fever. I believe he's on Venmo. You can send him money, which we like because he's our money mark. What's going on there, Byron?
I'm just recording a podcast with my friends.
Okay, so anyway, I got heat. I got serious fucking heat this week. You know, I love fucking Konnan's show. I've listened to Keeping It 100 since the very beginning. I think maybe I've missed like 4 shows.
Goddamn legend, first of all. One of my favorite wrestlers. When I used to make myself on video games, I stole the 187 DDT because it was such a fucking cool move.
And if you listen to this show, you know that we have a lot of respect for what Konnan has done in the business, especially because it has directly affected a lot of friends of ours in a very positive fashion. I mean, legit, the dude is responsible for like at least 60 to 70% of what is going on outside of WWE in some fashion. He has fucking touched it and actually done something positive with it for the most part across the board wherever he could. I mean, the guy at one point was working for like 6 fucking promotions that all had dudes that we personally love in them. You know, and he's, helped get guys like Cross down in Mexico and done great stuff for Ray, Fenix, and Penta, and just brought lots of great talent from all the way back in the ECW days to WCW to Lucha Underground to MLW to AAA, like just across the board. Oh, the Crash, like all sorts of great stuff. So no beef with Konnan. But this week on their show, Kevin Kleinrock, the guy who brought us onto this very network, he goes on Konnan's fucking show and talks about every goddamn podcast on this network except us. And there's some great podcasts. Don't get me wrong. I want those guys to get the rub too. I've been listening to a ton of those shows myself. There's a lot of great stuff on there. But where the fuck were we? How the fuck did we get left out of this, Kleinrock? What the fuck is going on, man?
Kevin,
this is some bullshit.
Kevin,
it's because we're Hoovie's friends.
Is it because we didn't have you on our podcast, Kevin? Is that the answer to this?
Is that what it takes?
I think that's what it is. That's what it is.
I'm sorry we didn't have time while we were trying to get all of these ball hair sponsorships in order to have you as a guest on our already guest-packed show. Thank you very much. I'm sure they love being part of all this ball hair talk.
Yeah, see, people don't understand. Go ahead,
We should just go to the source and get Disco to read our mailbag.
No.
And then he could talk about
it. We're going to have Hoovie on. We're going to get Hoovie on here.
No. No Hoovie. Like,
we get Justin, baby.
His heat with Konnan might be new over there with all the bullshit he's doing on his podcast, but his heat with me goes way back to those mad t-shirts that I never fucking got. Though I did eventually get my money back. So fuck Hoovy and fuck Kleinrock. God damn it. People think that we're afraid to have heat with our own fucking network. Fuck you, Kleinrock. What the hell happened, man? We want a goddamn explanation, bro. Yeah, I got fucking.
This is an ECW angle.
We are fucking rogue already. We've been on this network for 3 goddamn weeks or whatever, and we are going fucking rogue right now. People think that we're afraid to say what our mind is, but we have talked shit on DJ and still had him on the show. We have talked shit on Evie Dub, still had him on the show. We've talked shit on all sorts of wrestlers. We don't give a fuck. We will give you our opinion, and my opinion is if you're going to promote all the other goddamn shows on the network, we better fucking be at the top of the goddamn list next time. What the
champions?
Fuck?
Like champions. I was so excited when I heard him starting to talk about it because I'm like, we're coming up. Come on.
We got heat. Fuck this shit. Start a list, Byron. Start a goddamn list. Put Kevin Kleinrock at the top of that fucking list. We will deal with this shit.
I cry.
And Psycho Clown. Get Psycho Clown on the list.
Beef, you don't have to. You can just let it go. You can let it go. It sounds great. Yeah, it's fine. You're good. You're good, brother.
I cried about
now you can hear me.
Justin,
fuck Psycho Clown. Just to make sure. That's my mic test.
Yes.
My mic test is fuck Psycho Clown. Psycho Clown's a dick. Fuck Psycho Clown.
I don't mind Psycho Clown.
That's for Eric Mutter.
Anyway, look, enough of this bullshit. I've talked my shit for this week. I can't. I'm getting flustered. Byron, is the tape ready of that other thing? So last week, if you were watching this show, you saw at the end of the program, make sure you go all the way to the end because Skip Chaisson, the executive producer of Lucha Underground, vignette director, chief creative officer at El Rey, owns his own trailer company, done a million great fucking things. He's made all the best trailers that you've ever seen, especially for a lot of the action genre stuff. Absolutely a brilliant mind. He came on the show. He gave us a few tidbits. And guys, I have to tell you, we were holding back. That's not even the good shit. The good shit is still coming up. There's a lot of awesome stuff. And stick around to the end of this interview, too, because there's even a special surprise on top of that you're definitely going to want to check out. You want to know about Lucha Underground. You want to know what Skip thinks about the legacy of Lucha Underground, what he thinks about, the style of Lucha Underground, the impact that it's had, and a whole bunch of secrets of these scenes that you know and love from Lucha Underground, then you got to stick around and watch this.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a look at all of the great shows available this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network, where you can always find each show on its own or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show for every show in one easy feed. Our Monday lineup will start its rotation over this coming Monday, June 8th, as Lucha Libre Figures and Facts brings you a brand new episode. In the meantime, if you missed any of the debut episodes of our monthly series, Lucha Libre Figures and Facts, The Masked Cast, and The Business of the Business, check them out this week. And before you get into this week's brand new episode of Mass, Mats, and Mayhem this Tuesday, do not miss last week's amazing interview with Lucha Underground executive producer and El Rey Network Chief Creative Officer, Skip Chaisson, the man directly responsible for the groundbreaking series Look. And this Tuesday, join the show for part 2 with Skip. Thursday on Straight Out of the Bodega, Papo Esco and Gabriel Ramirez are joined by Marcus Mack, promoter of All Pro Wrestling, as they talk about the early days and legacy of Roland Alexander's APW, the eventual takeover by Marcus after Roland's death, and much more. Also Thursday, and in Espanol, La Mesa de los Márgaros returns to bring the show's unique mix of Lucha Libre news, opinions, and comedy to the Lucha Central Podcast Network lineup. This week, pulling up a seat at the table will be luchador Crazy Boy and leading Lucha Libre journalist Apollo Valdez. On Friday, the Lucha Central Podcast Network brings you Lucha Central Weekly and Lucha Central Weekly en Español. Get all the latest updates from Mexico as AAA and CMLL prepare to return to action, and the most newsworthy notes on luchadores across the globe, including a look at the Rey Mysterio retirement angle from WWE's Monday Night Raw. and the NXT Cruiserweight title tournament finals. Will former CMLL, AAA, and Lucha Underground star Hijo del Fantasma capture his first WWE gold? Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms. And please be sure to give a rating and review to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
We're talking with Skip Chaisson, the executive producer of Lucha Underground, a guy responsible for all of those fabulous vignettes that you guys see. And Skip, I got to ask you about a couple of those because, again, you've done all these trailers, so you've got this stylistic presence where you can. You even said it earlier in the interview that you were kind of imitating certain scenes at times, like Marty the Moth was a little bit the Shining thing, right?
Absolutely.
And one of the other ones that I kind of want to ask you about where I don't know exactly where they came from, like the Taya Perfect Woman vignette, the Famous Bee car commercial stuff. Some of those that are very different than even the regular Lucha Underground style. Like, where did some of those come from?
Well, Famous B, again, the crazy minds of DJ and Roach. Who knows where? I don't know where they get that stuff, but they floated an idea of, well, we're always breaking the wall, like in certain ways, always breaking that third wall or fourth wall, and what can we do to make it feel like a commercial's happening and not happening, or wait a minute, where are we at? They brought that idea up and I thought it was great. And I can't remember, I'm sure that they were thinking of it too, but I immediately thought of Cal Worthington commercials. This is really old. Cal Worthington was in his dog Spot, and his dog Spot was always an elephant or a monkey or some crazy thing.
I got to tell our listeners and viewers to look up Cal Worthington on YouTube because he's a California legend.
Classic, hilarious. Channel 13, whatever, with the fuzziness of the antenna breaking in and out, and old school TV Saturday mornings, not even Saturday mornings, after the cartoons, early afternoon, and you're seeing Cal Worthington and his dog Spot talk about his come on down to his car lot because he's got a sale. And so as soon as Roach and DJ brought up the Famous B thing, I just, okay. We got a parking lot, we got a wall, we got a thing here, and this is great. This is how we can do it, and he can have magical powers. And now Cal Worthington and others of that time period, what was also an inspiration for me was this guy out of New York, Byron, Crazy Gideon's House of Electronics or something. Crazy Gideon.
I love Crazy Gideon.
Right, so it was almost like a combination of Crazy Gideon, Cal Worthington, and Fred Sanford. So that was, putting it together. And then thankfully, Brian, he was able to grasp that and understand. So if you can imagine, I acted out a lot of that stuff so he can see how far it's going and the campness of it. And so I'm acting it out. And then he was able to just, okay, I'm going to go for it. And this was a guy who was a wrestler, not necessarily an actor. To be able to come in and do that kind of office community type dry comedy that is playing like it's best of show kind of, I'm doing it. I'm involved in it. I'm invested in it. I know I'm funny, but I'm not aware of it. I'm like being silly and not aware of it because I got no money to make these commercials, but I'm just doing them. That's why, like, you're watching Famous B, and he's got luchadors that come up behind him and are trying to attack him, and he does a back fist, and it comes nowhere near the guy, and he still reacts to it, and there's a sound effect, and everything's kind of off and a little low, and it's meant to really do an homage to this lo-fi production stuff.
At least he didn't have to hang upside down from an airplane like Cal Worthington.
Yeah.
That was one of the craziest
Cal was
commercials I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now, if I had been able to do something like that, I'm sure we would have.
I'm almost positive you would have. So, okay, I got to ask you about another one specifically because I see chatter on the internet, and I think it's one that you actually probably get a chance to clear up right here. Yes. The hallway scene, the Vampiro hallway scene, was it in fact inspired by the scene in the Daredevil show?
Oh, I can say exactly that. We shot that way before Daredevil.
And that's what I thought. See,
okay, so
right.
my thought was that it was inspired by Old Boy. So
which is where the Daredevil scene was inspired from.
That Old Boy and the Raid. Those were the things that I showed. Old Boy, the Raid, and it'll come to me in a minute. Old Boy, the Raid, and another
And if
film.
you people haven't seen Old Boy, by the way, the third act is going to mess you up real good. But watch
if you haven't seen the Raid, I don't know if we can be friends. You have to see.
We're assuming they've seen the Raid, Chaisson.
Yeah,
we're absolutely assuming.
Groundbreaking. If it wasn't for the Raid, it wouldn't. A lot of stuff would not. It would taken a lot longer to get to that action choreography. Way before, way before. And in fact, let me see. We shot it before. Even Eric was saying something. It was before it aired, before Daredevil aired, in their scene. Which was awesome. That was great. And I like to think that maybe they had a full day where we had an hour to do an hour in the middle of the night. And Frankenstein. So Frankenstein's monster, really. So I'm adding that into it, and the music choice is very different. And then to have this poem that is there, but we were putting Vamp over, or the return, really.
The return of Vamp. Yeah.
Yeah. The return of Vamp. So
there's a couple of season 4 topics I want to talk to you about, which
I
think are super interesting because, as Lucha Underground progressed, we saw going from just the cinematic nature of the vignettes, and I always loved your power of hero perspective, which was something I learned about
Hero's Journey.
Yeah. And especially like some of those forced perspective things with things in the foreground and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But we saw that evolve over time where you're not just making the characters look big anymore with these crappy sets. You get to season 4 and you get this new building. And it's one of the things that I think was a benefit. The building may not have been great to sit in for the actual wrestling as the original temple was, but we got to go all backstage and see all the sets and everything.
Oh, that's great. You guys did. Okay.
Yeah. And, we paid for it. There was EV Dub had a contest to contribute to a charity, and we won it. So we got a full backstage for Ultima Lucha 4.
Okay.
But the sets, oh my God, the Rabbit Tribe forced perspective set thing. You got to talk to us about that and where some of those sets and ideas and that building back there from Matanza and all those things came from, because it was in a season that was really compressed, and I know super hard on production to get everything in the right amount of time with the budget. It was one of the big successes, I thought, of season 4. So I was just kind of wondering where the ideas for the sets came from and what you were able to do as a director for the vignettes for season 4.
Can I cut in with a quick question that Justin just made me think of? Was Matanza, were his segments inspired by the cinematic masterpiece known as Penitentiary 3 by any chance?
No, they were inspired by Basket Case 2. Come on.
No,
we've argued over this.
I wish I could say that. It was really so. Okay, let me answer a couple things first. And going back where Eric's, we got the go ahead, and then Eric was saying, "Well, gosh, that the old temple, it's gone. Although we have left it, so we didn't really get a chance to blow it up or anything like that, which would have been really cool." But he came across, so I can't remember how he did it, but he came across this one building, and I just, you got to come over, and I drove over, a Tuesday afternoon or something. And he said, maybe this is a thing we can present to Robert, because I think there's got a lot of potential. And I always check, we go for buildings for shooting. I always go underneath and then on top, because like one of the things on, for the original temple, I am confident saying we shot every angle possible and every nook and cranny in that place because it was rad. It was great. And plus, even on the roof. And on the roof, to get skyline shots and get those things in a regular production, the money it would cost to do something like that. It's crazy. And we were able to get those things. And then plus those bridges that we stole, we stole all kinds of stuff. But those bridges and everything around there, priceless. It was great. So it was going to take a lot to kind of raise the ante in that other place. So we go into this place, and there's like, I walked through one and I just said, "Oh, this is like a murder room. This is great."
A murder room.
Yeah, yeah. And so the inspiration really, sadly, I don't want to disappoint you guys, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right.
For Matanza, from both, either like the murder room there where he goes, in Texas Chainsaw, he slams the door and you don't know what the heck's going on behind this door and everything. And that was Matanza's lair. So then we're up in this thing that has these slats on the floor, and Dave Navarro, our killer lighting director, was saying, well, I think I could do something with these slats. And I was like, oh, maybe we can get shafts of light. And he's like, yeah, we can do this. And we did. It was not easy, but it came off really cool. So we had that. And then since it was an older building, sometimes there would just be no wall. It was just a hole in the wall. So we walked up and I looked out, and from this big hole in this one wall, we looked down and there was just an opening with a kind of what felt like a platform, and it was surrounded by water. It would take forever just to build this set, and it was already there. It was already there. It was so great. So there was a lot of existing really cool things. And then Kelly and her team, that's where it allowed her to shine in a lot of respects, because she actually had time. It was short, but she had time to be able to build sets. And we had the knowledge of, okay, if we had our druthers, what would we do for Dario's office? Well, Dario's office was a pre-existing office in season 1. So we were forced to skinny up and get in the corners, and we couldn't carve a hole out. We couldn't move a wall or anything like that. So for season 4, because we had an area, she was able to, like with Dario's office, that was a set that had 2 walls that we could open up and pull out. And then there were holes. So we fashioned holes between, he had like a barrel where he'd drink his Modelo and stuff. We could put a camera in there. So that 4-walled thing was, Kelly just built that from scratch. The Rabbit Tribe is, 2 stages. The Tim Burton kind of waiting room type thing was first, and it started as just in the line was that the Rabbit Tribe is waiting in a waiting room like Beetlejuice. And in that waiting room, things were too small or things were too big, and maybe there's one source of light. And then we thought the discussion took us to Alice in Wonderland, and then the forced perspective, and we were able to do this. And when I was little, I'd gone to the Winchester Mystery House, which was all dealing with forced perspective. And it's a crazy wish list, but then somehow or another, Kelly and her crew were able to do it. Kelly and Nance, amazing. That was great. So between that, first we had the waiting room with this crazy forced perspective and everything that then goes into actually underground to the White Rabbit's lair, which was a whole nother thing. Brought in, I had imagined it as, black all around, and then at the bottom of this hole, which was underground. We're like, what's a rabbit live in? That's where that came from. And then Kelly was saying, well, we could bring in dirt. We could bring in this. Let's use this post here, because you're still dealing with not a real set. You're dealing with a building. So there's like posts sitting around and stuff. And man, she built this whole thing. It was crazy. So then we decided, how to light it and everything. So really a team effort. I mean, really, really a team effort. But to have those sets and standing sets was great. I go back and forth between, I really liked in season 1 the locker room-ish areas for season 1. And then this locker room was built from scratch. Like the locker room from the other place was kind of existing, but they brought in lockers and everything, which were those are the same lockers. I believe those are the same lockers we brought into the other place, but the color scheme was a little different. Yeah, we had actual standing sets, like a real show, where we didn't have that before. So we kind of The sets we had before that Kelly built were not nearly as intricate because we had Pentagon's dojo and we had the Master's lair, which kind of morphed a little bit, but it was still, it was Pentagon's place. Mm-hmm. And then it was Vampiro as the Master's place. And then, Prince Puma was in there too. So it was it was the same kind of thing. You brought up Snake Tribe's place was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You brought up the Rabbit Tribe. Their stuff. I just wanted to ask real quick. How did you get any filming done with Paul London and Kevin Cross? Like, were you guys just shooting it the whole time?
So Paul London was like talking to Robert Downey Jr. It really was. I mean, immediately I felt like I was talking to Robert Downey Jr. And if you flow with that, and even it wasn't just like talking to him. Paul London had some Wing Chun experience, just like Robert Downey Jr. Really bizarre. And so that was almost that was an in. I thought, oh, okay, he's feeling this. And so you can see it, which is hilarious. There's a couple of things where in their weird kind of movements and stuff, you can see that there's at one point Paul London has some carrots and he's actually using them like Wing Chun swords. But but they're carrots. Yeah, that's the thing. So once I was able to connect with him, Paul was like a method actor. And to talk to him that way and see where he's coming from, and you're like, oh, endless wanting to have ideas and stuff like that. And Kevin, supposedly a big scary guy, but the same thing, so excited to be able to be in a set and to bring a character to life in this kind of movie type way. So down for it. And wanting to go over the top and choose scenery, and then understanding the smallness of things. It doesn't all have to be big. And then dealing with them both at the same day, and with little crazy tricks. Like there's a small section where, so Kevin's sitting on his throne and he has a staff, and I had imagined him kind of like, it sounds silly. So if you look at that set and you look at The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke and Yoda are training, that's that set. And Kevin has a staff there, and there's a moment where we even did like very old school, where he lets go of the staff and it flies. And if you widen out, it's just me with the staff moving it. But it looks like, but that was kind of that vibe. We smoked it up, and so that set was an homage to that kind of thing.
Very much had the vibe of the scene where Luke fights Darth Vader and then sees his own face that scarred me and so many of my friends for life as children.
Yeah. And so then, that leads to the reverse, which is pushing those buttons, which is Paul killing Masquerita.
Yeah. That was amazing. How over the top all of that was. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, I want all of season 4 to be this.
Yeah.
The slow-mo and the opera-ish kind of stuff playing. Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
And both those guys are friends of the show. We love them so much. We get them on here and geek out about movies all the time. It's tremendous.
Yeah. They were great. Really hilarious. And like I said, just really fell into their stuff, really owned their characters and stuff. Yeah, really.
It's funny because with Cross, with the limited stuff we've seen at NXT now, you still see like that White Rabbit type of restraint on the performance.
Yeah,
which is amazing because wrestlers don't have that. They don't have that going from theater to on camera type of switch, and I think it's really effective for him. Like a big guy like that doesn't have to scream.
Doesn't have to all the time. And I think they're also, I always think of them as they're like they're stage performers. That's right. They're playing to the audience. And so if they feel like they have the ability to touch someone and manipulate someone who's so far away, that's some serious chops. And it's like you said that great stage actors, if they go to film and learn how to work that camera, they're fantastic. And all those wrestlers, it seems like they're cuckoo, But they all have that. Yeah, they all have that ability. It's neat.
You talk so much about how the season 4 sets, you didn't have a lot of time and you're trying to fit as much as you can in.
Yeah.
You had some pretty intricate stuff. Like, I know you can pre-light sets and you could just shoot a scene, pretty quickly, jumping in and out. But there's the fight scenes, like the Snake Tribe fight scenes, where you have choreograph and you're not doing just 2 setups, 3 setups. It's just, can you tell us about the frustrations with that and the fun you had with that?
I think if we then in those instances, that's Robert Rodriguez filmmaking, is go 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 go. But it's breaking the shackles of what is traditional filmmaking, and oftentimes picking up the camera yourself. But although our cameramen, to be able to do those things, it's also a result of math. Seems kind of weird. It's going to be, I'll get it. It'll make sense in a second, because a shooting day is, based on a concept of math still. How much I can get, how many setups I can get, how much I can get before lunch, after lunch. Mm-hmm. And it's not just before lunch, after lunch. How much can I get before the sun sets? What am I going to do after that sun sets? What am I going to do? How many shots can I get as the lights are turning on? When you have that carbon dioxide in the air where the color is going to be really cool, when I tweak that color, how much time is that? And then how do I get that reverse angle from a fight scene? You're talking about fight scenes. Fight scenes inherently have, a number of different setups if you're shooting it Hong Kong style or American style. Hong Kong style, you are going down the path. So it's not like you, when I say going down the path, you start from the beginning of the fight and you go till the end of the fight. The beauty of that is if somebody gets hurt or if their wardrobe gets messed up, you don't have to go back and reset. You buy it and you're like, okay, so it's torn. Okay, so it's going to be torn for the rest of the fight. So you're chasing the angle, chasing the angle. So you feel a definite end to the process. But what's great about the guys and the shooters, I'm going to talk about the shooters for doing these vignettes. A lot of them still work on like Shark Week and crazy stuff where they're on like hanging off the side of a ship and they got to make it look great. Or Ice Road Truckers. They're hanging off this, they're hanging off that, and they got to be cool, calm, and collected and be able to compose a shot that works in like a window of time where somebody's going to get hurt or they're going to get hurt. So taking those guys and putting them in this crazy lucha thing, which is accelerated, is still nothing. Those guys get like, guys and girls, they got like ice water in their veins because they've been doing all this other stuff, no problem. So now you're saying, I can do all this stuff, and asking them to hang off the side of a building is no problem because they're used to hanging off the side of a boat with a shark trying to bite their butt. So they're able to do that and just enjoy it. And so we were able to get a lot of different angles really quickly. Having a live camera, when I say a live camera, not, almost all those things are either moving or they're steady cam, or even if they're on a tripod, everything is alive. There's an aliveness to it, which I thought was bringing some reality to it. So these fight scenes and the action scenes, they're not overly choreographed. When I say overly, I'm a fan of overly choreographed stuff. The Raid, Shaw Brothers, it's overly choreographed. It rides the line between that and a Bruce Lee movie, which goes right to the heart of the movement, and there's a grittiness to it. Mm-hmm. So if you can see like Melissa and Katrina's fight, there is it's choreographed, but it's not that next level of Shaw Brothers choreograph. Even though it's in hyper real, it is still kind of based in reality. The hallway fight is a good example of that. So there's no flips or anything like that. They get tired. It starts out hot. People come in and there's playing with music and everything, and there's slow-mo, but like at the Vamp, he's just not wailing through people. They're both getting tired. But it's still violent and it's still exciting. Where like in the Daredevil thing, there's flips and all kinds of stuff going on. It's really neat. I'm not slamming it, but that's where you can see a difference. Is there's some, tiredness going on there and some reality in it, but it's still a little bit more hyper real, even though we have a vampire at the end. The Sexy Star has a fight very early on. That was one of the first fights that we did. was with Sexy in season 1. And that was really making her a superhero. And I have to say then, was around the time that Black Widow does her thing in Iron Man 2. And it was a necktie that all these wrestlers know how to do, like, boom, they know how to do that. So we incorporated that and a couple of other things into her fight to really, she's small. We had good stunt guys around, and that was a really fun fight. And a little behind the scenes thing for that. Towards the end of the fight, she does a move. She has a necktie. Boom. There's a difference between stuntmen and wrestlers, right? So we learned, okay, stuntmen can take that bump, take that fall, just as wrestlers, but and sell a fall or sell a hit differently and more effective to camera. But when it comes down to doing wrestling moves, wrestlers know how to do those things. So we only had that day, we had a regular stunt person on there, did all the other stuff really great. But when it came time for Sexy to do this necktie thing, she was like, no, they need to move this way. And she's a Spanish speaker predominantly. So I speak a little bit, and we were translating and going back and forth. And I was thinking, this is going to be tough. Johnny Mundo is walking through and sees what's going on. He sees a filmmaker at heart, and a really good one. Martial artist, everything, loves it. And he was really excited to be in this thing. I mean, just in general. So he sees what's going on. And he goes, oh, you know what? Give me a mask. I'll come in and take that bump. And it just says so much for him to be able to go. So if you go back in that thing where she's beating up all these other people, and it comes down to this final move, and she goes in and does this necktie, takes this guy down, that's Johnny, but he's got a mask on. And I just thought,
amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was like a big thing that I learned too with the wrestlers there. If you need them, yeah, sure. Okay, no problem. And they had no problem putting somebody else over. And that's an example of it. Johnny came in, yeah, oh sure, I'll do it. Yeah, no, this is gonna be fun. Boom. It was great.
I gotta ask you about probably one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in all of Lucha Underground, especially for Casey up there. The death of Dario Cueto. What film inspired that bloody mess on the desk?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah,
it was The Untouchables?
Yeah, it's Brian De Palma. Yeah.
So brutal.
It was it was a combination of two scenes from The Untouchables. There's a scene where De Niro is at this table and he's got a baseball bat, and he's talking about loyalty and this and that, and he ends up smashing a guy with the baseball bat. And there's a pull out, as the blood's flowing. I think there's a pull out there, and then there's another pull out later with Sean Connery. But that was in my mind. That was that thing. And then also to cut outside for the gun blast, because it felt too real. It was just too real that he pulled out a gun and to show this. So it was twofold. It was it felt too real, but at the same time, we don't have squibs. We don't have the stuff needed to make that feel cool and not comical, but scary and all that other stuff. So I thought, okay, we're going to go outside. I came to that conclusion early on because I forget what show it was, but I always thought that it was just leading up to a gunshot, and they cut outside and you see the lights, you see the flash of light emitted from a gunshot through a window. And so that's going to work really cool we'll go outside and pick that up from Dario's door, looking at his name on there, and then flash. I'd say that's something that I do regret, but I don't regret doing that. I thought that was really neat. And then the whole pull out, Dave Navarro rigged this whole thing. So Kelly cut out a hole in this in the roof, and they did a pull out and everything as he's on his desk, which I thought that was great. But if I had that to do again, instead of having him pull a gun, I would have done something to intimate that he had some light or something coming from his hands or some otherworldly thing. That everything else, I don't regret anything other choices, but I just thought, man, that I look back and I think, why I think that is for Angela, for Black Lotus, when she kills Matanza with the glove and she really wails into him, and it's like there's lightning and everything flying, and I just thought, oh man, I should have had something like that happen. It wouldn't, not a gun, but like the forecast of like some otherworldly power, because that would have been another like for the audience to go, what the heck? You know?
Speaking of what the heck, I think our other co-host Eric Van Wagenen wants to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I was sitting here going, you mentioned that Skip was joining, and I said, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to click in, and my stupid bald head is going to pop in right in the middle of an awesome Skip Chaisson story where he's talking about filmmaking and symbolism and how he held the camera and how he did this. And I'm going to shit all over this amazing story. And bam, I pop in, and that's exactly what's happening. And I am sorry to anybody watching this that ruined that, because I should just turn off right now and leave, because Skip is telling stories and nobody really needs to talk.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Eric, I thought you
have you been? Good to see you all. Hey, Meef.
Hey, you right?
How have you been? You guys all look you all look like shit. You all look
Thank you.
For 3 months.
What's sunshine? What's vitamin D? I don't know.
Exactly.
All this setup, all this crazy screens and everything is part of Eric's secret project, if I can say that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you tell them that we have that we've reunited?
Yeah, I just said you were looking forward to a well-deserved crazy vacation because of this thing that you were on. Crazy.
Yeah, a year and a half, and we recruited Skip for it, and of course you did not disappoint, Skip. It was amazing.
Yeah, we got some great, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
You know, guys, we love having scoops. If you guys wanted to give us a couple more hints,
I mean, we can just say it. It's not really hidden, but it doesn't really fall into the MMM show world necessarily. Where'd Justin go? Is he gone? Is he around?
His internet is screwed.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
There was a TV show 20 years ago called the Eco Challenge, which was it was on several different networks from MTV to I think A&E and whatever, and it's basically it was an early reality TV show. I think it started in '98, and it was adventure racing started with the Eco Challenge. I think the original one was in Utah, and then it moved around the world, and it's basically a team endurance racing, and so they have since, like everything else, they've been bringing back old formats. Amazon Studios brought back the Eco Challenge with MGM, and they're redoing it for Amazon. It's a 10-episode, hosted by Bear Grylls, and it is basically a 12-day race across Fiji with 66 teams of 4 people.
Awesome.
And it's crazy. It was intense, and reality TV has really evolved since this last show went off the air in 2002. So it had been off the air for a while. So, we wanted it to. Plus, we had the resources behind Amazon Prime to shoot it. So we had this significantly higher budget, and so we shot this in September of last year.
Wow,
I guess so. There. I know, can you believe it?
Wow. Yeah.
Skip was there with some of his crew, and we had a whole bunch of really experienced adventure cameramen and directors and producers, and it was a nonstop 12-day race across Fiji for teams, and it was pretty intense, awesome. and fun. And so we had Skip there shooting a bunch of second unit stuff and a bunch of awesome B-roll, time lapse.
It's crazy. It's
crazy Fijian warriors. Like they should just use the outtake, Skip, for a background package on the Wild Samoans or something like that.
Yeah, I know. It's not when Eric says it's across Fiji. It's like these teams are climbing mountains, falling into rivers, and then they're in the ocean, and it's over. for action junkies or fans of lucha who are in action, at the same time, they'll like this. And then plus it's beautiful. I mean, for this drama and everything, and the amount of coverage is incredible. Like that, you can see these adventure shows, but here you really do feel like you're right there because the camera's right there.
And as you will see shortly, I think probably in early June, released an original Skip Chaisson trailer for it. So if you haven't seen one of those in a few years, which probably is true, Skip, you haven't been really in the trailer business.
No, that's
we go way back. Yeah. And we only hope that the series will live up to the trailer.
We would absolutely play the trailer on this show.
Yeah,
the second it releases.
I'll send it to you guys for sure. Absolutely will.
Eric, I want to apologize to you about. I think you reached out to Brandon for Eco Challenge.
I think I did. Yeah, he was working with you, right?
Yeah, Byron stole it.
Rescue, and I feel bad because I know how much of a talent he is, and I felt bad driving.
He's great. I'll always call him on anything we're doing. We had a lot of there was a lot of cameramen I didn't know. These were like guys that were, some people who had worked on like Free Solo and who had worked in like these crazy, we had like these specialty camera guys, guys that could shoot 7 cameras at a time while riding mountain bikes, up cliffs and stuff. And I mean, these are cameramen that I don't usually. So these aren't the cameramen hanging out at the bar after a 10-hour shoot day.
Yeah.
These are like some hardcore dudes that I didn't know a lot of them before this, but I'm thoroughly impressed by their ability to endure and shoot.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think they went through just as much as the racers.
Yeah, we embedded some of them. I mean, you can't really, if you're in a outrigger kayak, you can't really put another body in that kayak with them. But anytime they were on their feet or on the ground or on bikes, we a lot of times had embedded crews, traveling along with them, trying to shoot, while keeping up with them at the same time. But we did a bunch of lucha people on there, like Ryan and and Mark, a bunch of like that. We had our drone guys and a bunch of our editors are lucha editors. So there's this little sort of core people that I'll bring along with whatever show I'm doing. So there's a lot of the old lucha guys on Eco Challenges.
Even in my small team, that was Chris Stevens. Yeah, he was lead shooter for lucha. Did great, hanging out of helicopters, not just one helicopter. It's like it was like a Tony Scott project. There were multiple helicopters flying around. And
we had 5 helicopters on call every day.
Yeah. It was,
wow.
That's sweet Amazon budget. Wow.
Dude,
Amazon to make Lucha Underground season 5, yeah.
For one episode we could have done.
We could have done the whole season.
We could have done 5 episodes, season 5, 6, and 7 probably. It was crazy.
My God. Yeah, I went from being terrified of helicopters to like, okay, can we dive down to go from here to there? And
I know, and it was before all the Kobe stuff, and I was sitting there just going, man, we did way stupider stuff than that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh
wow.
Yeah.
But
I remember when I was doing a home renovation show, we would it was with Vanilla Ice, so we would get helicopters every now and then to steal footage, which was awesome. But like by the 2nd or 3rd season, The Office made us cut it out because of liability. Like you can't go up there without insurance. Like there's no planning ahead on that show.
Yeah. And Fiji, like it's so mountainous and the weather changes so quick and it's so It makes me real nervous up there, and we got all of our helicopter pilots from New Zealand, and we had like the one guy that I was comfortable flying with. He was born 4th generation Fijian from Australia, and he literally would fly the plane with his knees while looking at his map, and we'd be going up these sheer cliffs, and he could probably draw a topography of Fiji just from memory. He knows it that well. So that guy was good. They were all really good, but you when you want to just bring a regular helicopter pilot and drop him into Fiji and expect him to survive.
Now with that the wind changes and everything, and he put us down at bases of a waterfall, and that at the top of the waterfall in a little spot, which I thought is amazing. But then when you are dealing with the wind and changes and everything, and then that weather
and the bush, you're stirring up all kinds of grass and leaves and bush and dirt, and it was a little nerve-wracking. I gotta say, there were times I was a little nervous.
I could say that I was nervous the whole time.
I was doing this volunteer thing over in the Middle East with American 300 to visit all the troops. So one of the times we're flying Hawk helicopters, and something I do all the time. Like they would mess with us. They'd pretend they're dodging and just start banking around. And for me, you airplanes, I'd think, okay, well, we're crashing now. It's
I got stuck in the chopper doing the B-roll day with Bear, where Bear had his own helicopter.
He has his own.
So we needed all these like panning, swarming over, going over the top of, coming around from behind, and I drew the short straw. I think I was in with the shooters, and I should have just let them do it on their own. That one had me shaking just a little bit. I mean, we were getting really close to each other. It was intense.
Did you guys use much helicopter footage for Lucha, or were you most own stuff?
Well, there was both these a ton of great, awesome chopper stuff in downtown LA. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And then Ryan's drone stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we were we were at least able to reuse all the we spent all that money in season 1. We were able to reuse a lot of things.
You see a lot of that stuff. Yeah. And it was gorgeous. That stuff, that really, it's interesting. Like a lot of elements go into making something feel cinematic. Like if we didn't have those chopper shots, you still feel stuff, but the show would only feel a certain size just by flying over everything coming over downtown or up the 405 or that intersection there, just gives you an inherent feeling of weight, so it's in size. It's good. It's so good.
I always thought that added a lot of the Burnett element and feel and look to it as well when you're combining all these producers and directors' styles. And I always loved that about the first season. I was like, damn, it really is a combination of Robert Rodriguez and Mark Burnett. This is crazy.
Yeah. I was around in those early Burnett days where it was just assumed that you'd have a helicopter on call the entire 40 days to shoot or whatever it was, like really Survivor, Contender, Apprentice. They just always had a helicopter on call. I mean, even on Survivor, they still do.
Wow.
And we shot some of Eco, or World Toughest Race, as it's called on Amazon. We shot some of that on the same island they shoot Survivor. And they just keep a helicopter there, and they have the luxury of saying, okay, two contestants are out fishing, bring in the chopper. It's like. But that's a big network show, and it's been on for 40 seasons, so they still have some perks. But that is definitely a sort of a throwback. And now with drones, you see chopper even less. But there's you can't beat that giant 5,000 foot chopper shot. You just can't.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you guys both this. We've had Skip for a while, so I don't want to keep you forever, Skip, if you need to get out of here, but I got to ask you guys this. We're talking with Eric Van Wagenen and Skip Chaisson, two of the executive producers from Lucha Underground. If there was ever a season 5 or a continuation of Lucha Underground, what is the get? What is the thing that you guys always wanted to do that you never got to do?
You'd have to ask Chris that more than.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because that's where all the craziness really sprung
They
from.
actually told us the answer was full frontal nudity. I'm not going to say which Chris said that. I may be making it up completely, actually.
One of them wanted more BDSM.
I thought we did. Didn't we do that with Joey? I thought. Well, right. Yeah, kind of.
I'm like that wouldn't shock me if we were able to pull that off.
Yeah. I kind of feel like we did. That was what. Yeah.
Was there ever?
Yeah.
Was there anything out that they brought to you guys that you couldn't do, that you couldn't find a way to pull off or make acceptable for?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I remember Skip, you and I had a long call about how to make Drago fly.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say Drago fly or Aerostar fly, like going back in time,
Because at one point we were talking about making it a POV of Drago flying from a drone.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
we were gonna have we're gonna have Dario like out on the curb, and he was gonna, you'd see Drago running, and then you would cut to his POV, and then he would just lift off.
Yeah.
And you didn't, but then you came up with the fire thing, which made it way cooler, I think.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what if he just disappears with the fire? And we go, yeah. And then that was luck. That was like the heavens going, one of those fire explosions, and it's like the last shot that you have of the fire guy, and we go last shot, and I'm like, okay, how much fuel do you have? Well, I got okay, load that sucker up. Let's just blow it. This is last shot. Let's explode it. And then you look at it in slow mo, and it's like, wow, it looks like freaking wings there. It's crazy. Yeah, but
it reminded me of Nightcrawler, and I loved it for that.
Yeah,
for that point, as a fellow comics fan.
But it is weird. I can't remember, Eric, can you remember the conversation? I mean, where do you go with that? Well, you know what? Maybe because we'd already done Fire for Phoenix. Because it seems kind of strange in retrospect to say, hey, Eric, how about if we just explode a big fireball out of the... But then we had...
I think that was like we were coming into our last week of... like we had to give up the warehouse, and we were trying to find stuff. We were trying to economize our night shoots.
Yeah.
We were trying to, we were trying to like, all right, well, we have 2 nights to get, these 7 shots. Like, how do we do it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know because we were shot number 7.
Yeah.
We remember clearly the shot that didn't get done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're like watching the match that was going over, just looking at our watches, going, "We're not going to be able."
Yeah,
to do
I don't know if you know this Skip, but EV Dub was trying to get a shot for season 4 where we were kind of crawling into the temple, or we were the guys sneaking in or something to that effect. And we were trying to shoot it during Ultima Lucha or something, but man, that whole night was way over. Every guy out there was taking liberties with time that night.
Yeah.
So
These guys are a little salty about that because I was featured heavily on Lucha Underground television, so I don't feel bad about it. But these guys, they're just
great.
Yeah. I mean,
I never got to go.
Yeah, Meef never got there, but the other ones, you'd think that the 3 of you guys were paid extras.
Maybe.
I think the wrestling newsletters said I was once.
And we're gonna keep with that EV Dub, because when I show up at other wrestling shows, sometimes they stick a little 100 in my pocket there. So let's just leave that one. All right. So here's a question for you guys, and you guys may or may not be able to or even want to answer this. So would you, if there was a chance to do a season 5, would you even want to do it, or is Lucha better left where it is now? I mean, we get that it would have to be something different and that you'd have to reimagine it, but from a business perspective and a creative perspective, like, has it run its course, or would you ever be excited about trying to do a season 5? Is there any chance?
I mean, I think the window on it is closed a little bit. Like, I would like to do something else in that space. I mean, Skip, I mean, you and I, we had a great time doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to say no comment on the business perspective. I can't comment on that at all. But from an emotional perspective, I've always talked to Eric about, I love getting the band back together. Everybody from cast, crew, it's great. We've all done a lot of shows and stuff, and you have great experience. You have good experiences, sometimes a little tough. And even then, that was tough. That was tough. We did a lot of stuff, but it was tough. It was good tough, because we were like, wait a minute, how do we pull this off? I can't believe it. And it was because of all, those wrestlers and the crew and everybody just all buying in, all buying in. Here's the shoestring. Okay, we're all buying in. Kelly,
and Skip's being humble, but he was the linchpin for so much of what we were able to do. I mean, he actually was employed by the network, so he had more he was our network executive and our director. So. Yeah. This very rare situation that was fantastic for those of us on the production side of it, where there was never this thought of, they're never going to let us do it. It was like, hey, Skip, how about this? And he'd say, yeah. And we'd say, awesome, let's do it. And that was the approval process. I mean, that was it. Like,
can you imagine? Yeah, I know. I could go, how many places? This is always the beauty of El Rey is, well, gosh, if I had a second guess on something, ask Robert, like that's, he opines right then,
you just shoot him a text and he'd say,
cool. Hey, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Can you shoot some more blood? Yeah.
I got to tell you guys, like from the first time I ever read about this before it even went into production, and I heard that Rodriguez and Burnett were teaming up to do a wrestling show, I thought to myself, wow, that sounds like the coolest thing ever. It's doomed. Like that there's no way. But in fact, those two guys' mentalities about how to film things, Burnett always with the biggest idea in the world, and then just go get it done, guys, and make it the best thing ever and make it top quality. And Rodriguez with the like, okay, give me 5 credit cards and let's go make a movie kind of mentality somehow made this thing work. I mean, coming with those two guys' big global perspectives, and then Dorian coming in with the stuff from Mexico and the wrestlers and the connections there. It somehow freaking worked. Right. Are you guys amazed that you pulled it off at this point?
It's weird how I was just going to say. I wanted to mention Luis as well. Luis as an actual actor was also like on set. It was almost like having an instructor on set, and being bilingual and being this. There were so many things that just kind of that did fall into place, that were either shoved into place, but others were just like, hey, wow, Luis, that was fantastic in a lot of different ways. And it was really odd that I was connected to Robert, and I had also had a previous connection to Mark Burnett. I thought that was really weird. And then Eric already knew that. There was just a lot of like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. It was weird.
Yeah, and I think we were lucky in that we were the smallest show in both houses. You know what I mean?
Right. Dust Till Dawn was going on.
When you're doing the voice, like Mark didn't have time to worry about Lucha Underground. Nobody did. Every time we would get like the junior lawyer who had just been hired 3 weeks earlier, and we would beat the shit out of them, because they were just fresh out of law school, and like. We were kind of like bullies, we were just kind of, we're going to just do it this way and nobody's going to stop us. And nobody really cared enough to really stop.
And we were at that warehouse. Nobody wanted to come out.
Nobody wanted to go where we were.
Where we were.
Our editors worked from home, so there was no but there was no stop bys to see what was happening.
Well, all editors work from home now, Eric. Yeah. So you started that one too.
We started that trend.
And what's another plus was Ryan. I mean, that was another. How many somebody be able to cut and be able to do the drone thing, but be on set as well. There were a lot of neat little unicorns. You always try to find a unicorn, and we got a bunch of unicorns.
And you know what was interesting, Skip, when I think about it and look back on it, like the original vignettes, Skip wasn't involved with, and we took a pass at those, shooting those just more traditionally, and they sucked. They were not that great, and basically. John Fogelman, who was, sort of how would you describe his role at
wasn't he? I want to say exact, but I mean, at El Rey, one of the founders.
Yeah, and he's this big old Hollywood character, like
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he started in the mailroom at William Morris back in the day or whatever. I mean, he's just one of those old, movie characters. And he saw them and he goes, "These suck." The only one who's allowed to talk is Luis. So if you look at those first few episodes, we had to rewrite them. Remember, I remember rewriting the Chavo one. Chavo never said a word in that vignette, and that's the first one we shot that Skip took over. And I remember just like being in panic, going, "How are we gonna do this with Puma can't talk and John? Like nobody can talk. Konnan could talk. He liked Konnan. Konnan could talk, and Luis could talk, and that was pretty much the only people allowed to speak in the vignettes.
And that led to like really dramatic angles and low angles,
silences, and reaction shots, and Skip came in, and I remember the first one you shot, Skip, was the one in the locker room with with Chase and Chavo.
Yeah, when he's got the sweat and the water.
And I was like, are they going to turn on the lights in here? It's really dark. And I looked at the monitors and I looked at the faces and Chavo with the sweat dripping down and Luis with the gnarly thing in the doorway. And I said, holy shit, like John was right. And you never want to say that the network guy was right, but he was right on that one. And so it took it was a long, slow, deliberate process before other people actually got to speak in Viet. We had to convince John that, okay, this guy's just good enough to say it. And what if he just says this?
But
if you look at those early vignettes, there was Konnan talking and there was Luis talking, and I think that was it.
Yeah, it's sexy subtitled.
In Spanish. Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we loved. And honestly, other wrestling promotions could probably take a cue from that, because there are definitely a few that probably still shouldn't talk. And I won't mention any names, but I think a lot of our viewers know.
It would be a very long show if we did, Justin.
So I do have to ask you guys, though, about the legacy of Lucha Underground, because the cinematic fight scenes and the vignettes, a lot of other wrestling companies are kind of being forced to try some of those things now. You saw it even at WrestleMania, and just to keep it interesting, because 10 matches in a room with no people in a row gets a little stale. So they're copying a little of this style. And I'll give Matt Hardy and Jeremy Borash some credit too for what they did over at TNA at the time and Impact now. For a little bit of the cinematic thing that is kind of prevalent in wrestling now. But what's the legacy of Lucha Underground and the impact that it had on this form of storytelling, do you think that people will carry with them into the future?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I feel like, I always thought that we could get away with the backstage stuff as cinematic as we wanted. There was part of me that always thought that if there's wrestling, it has to be in front of a live audience, because they're there to keep your performers honest. Like if you're faking stuff and you're redoing retakes and things like that, you can't get away with that in a live audience. People would know that. And my thought was, do everything else edited, cut, scripted, directed, whatever, but the matches themselves have to be, in the live audience. And I have wondered over the last couple months how we would have dealt with this scenario, and I don't know what the answer would have been. I mean,
you guys would have had like 3 dudes probably, though, too.
Yeah, that would have been the other problem. We wouldn't have been able to get anybody from Mexico into the US. That would have been, it was hard enough when we were doing it to do that. I can't even imagine how we would have gotten those guys. But aren't Fenix and Pentagon working? Like, I think the residents probably.
Well, Fenix is, Penna hasn't been. And they missed a dive catch on Fenix, and now he's concussed and can't work for a while. He was supposed to have a match tonight, and he can't do it now.
I think I saw that on Twitter. That looked pretty rough.
Like 15 feet in the air.
And I to be totally honest, I think the last wrestling I watched was the Ultima Lucha Quattro. I don't think I've watched 5 minutes of it since then. I needed to take a little break from it after a few
Honestly,
years.
You guys would be proud, because WWE's stealing so much from Lucha Underground that you guys would be pretty into it, including the writers, but not because of that. But
maybe DJ's just borrowing from himself.
This could be true.
That does kind of make it a little more okay.
Yeah, no, you know what? I say that the more success everybody has, the better. The more people can work, whatever people like. It's nice to see an evolution in anything, but it's you have to evolve or die. I don't think you can do things in any sport. You look at the way the coverage is on any sport, and you go back 20 years, and it's dramatically different. And 10 years from now, it'll be even more different now, every sport. So
it is pretty crazy, though, seeing The Undertaker wrestle in a match that is essentially the Melissa and Katrina fight.
Oh,
that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's been borrowed from a lot.
Wow. I was just thinking, there's a couple, I'm amazed that we were able to do, like we did you guys were talking about homages, just it's a wrestling show. And we went away with that. No, it's not a wrestling show. This is, it's our universe. I don't know if you guys remember when Dario goes to meet Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah.
And, he goes downstairs, and that's an homage to Goodfellas. And we follow him downstairs, and he comes and he just has a conversation with them. and it's just so cool. And I love how Dave lit that scene, and that was just a scene that, wait, where are we? What? Oh, this is, but it's still engaging. There's no action in it. It's just straight up acting between these guys. And then, man, I keep on going. There's, I don't know if it's a legacy, but it's something where you go, well, if this is the head of our wrestling world, and he's talking to somebody who is out of the world, but he's still pulled in the universe. He knows the mayor. He knows this. He's involved with everything, but still, and you buy it, and the audience stays with it. And there's nothing going on there but dialogue, beautiful lighting, some music and everything. And then it sets up, it's a good play for the action that's about to happen in the ring. And then the way we kill him, oh my gosh, the cage punches his head and then it explodes and he sticks in his eyeball.
Tremendous. That was beautiful.
You were the first wrestling promotion to kill your talent.
Well, second.
Well, okay,
second. Too soon.
But then WWE now is throwing people off the tops of buildings.
Oh wow!
And they kill them off the show that way, or did they magically?
No, they come back without a scratch. The next
well, they did kill off Tori Wilson's dad by having him get fucked to death on WWE once. So that was probably one of DJ's. Actually, we should ask him.
Yeah, DJ's.
Vince's limousine that exploded.
Yeah, but then he was okay. Yeah, wrestling's weird, dude.
Isn't it supposed to be weird? Isn't that the whole point?
It's the whole point.
That's why it's fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, not to everyone, but to you guys at least it is, thankfully.
Well, everything that DJ, I like that everything, and then I was always trying to impose, like, there's craziness, but
yeah,
everything has a consequence. That and what the beauty of Roach and DJ is everything, there was a consequence to everything or a result of everything. Black Lotus thrown in the trunk of a car. Okay, great. That was a definite homage to Quentin and from Dusk Till Dawn. But then in the trunk and pulling her out. But then she's training, and there's still a consequence or a give and take or an action reaction to each one of those crazy things that was homages to other stuff. We were in Kill Bill world for a while, but while that's going on, they're connected to this character and connected to this character. I think that connections and consequences were just really neat. Maybe, I don't know if that's a legacy, but it was like,
Well, that's something that really stood out. And I think that allowed the fans to trust, the believers to trust when you would bring back almost like tired tropes like the wrestling wedding, which they never pan out. Yeah. But then yours was awesome,
Awesome.
And it's
for the taping of that, because that taping went on for, that was like,
yeah. It went on a long time.
It was only 8 minutes for me, so it was great.
But look, for editors, there's a reason why they have jobs. Let's just say that.
That was one day that day. I think that whole day went like 2.5 hours over or something crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I think I was the only one of us that was there for that one. But it was, I'm not gonna lie, Eric, it was brutal. It was fucking brutal. Let's not do that again.
I was there. I agree with you.
Well, that was
production time. Yeah, Skip, because like it was like being in a film class every day when you'd show up, and he would have clips that he would pull up on his iPad and show you, like, this is what we're going for, this director, this movie, this scene, and you just go, all right, I'm in. I'm all the way in. This is awesome.
We had no time to do everything else. It was like, here's my drawings, here's the thing. Okay, go. Even for the wedding stuff, season 4, I can't. It is amazing. I wish you guys could, just appreciate how much was done. I'm not talking about just our, the Skip Film team and everything, but just to pull off all those matches with all the guests and with all the people and the crowd and everything, and then just that compressed time frame, crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. I was there actually for every taping that season and talking to a lot of the performers and stuff too, and they were telling me about all the weekday shoots and all the stuff they were doing. And I talked to EV Dub a few times, and just seeing you guys pull that off in 4 or 5 weeks was absolutely ridiculous. And people can think what they want about season 4, but I know the constraints that you guys were under, the visa issues, the rewrites for people that couldn't even be there, the time stress of getting it done in that amount of time in a new location that was leaking. A lot of people don't
torn down, right? Remember that, Eric?
What's that?
that was going to be torn down.
Yeah, they were tearing it down the day after we finished shooting, so there was no extending it.
Yeah, there was
no reshoots. No pressure, guys. No pressure.
All the stuff that you guys saw in there, and then even maybe stuff that you didn't see, the control room and everything else. So the stands, that. I mean, that was all built by Eric's team, and there was nothing. It was a wonderful warehouse. And I was telling Eric when you come down, and we met on, it was like a Tuesday or something. We went through there, and it was like gravy. All these different locations.
Yeah,
in this
beautiful. Place. It smelled like dead bodies, though. Remember?
Legit dead body. Yeah,
That's because there were probably dead bodies in there, guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You've been in that part of town, right?
I'm sure now it's very expensive condos, though. So,
yeah. I don't know what. I haven't been there, but yeah, that season was kind of like a weird blur for me. I barely even remember it.
It was so fast, and just like all our those night shoots, just. And it was when you guys said like 7 setups or 7 scenes or whatever scenes to get through in the night, and
then remember John came on the last day of shooting and said we should turn on 20 more shows, and we actually thought about it for a second.
Like about that.
Yeah, about that. But still, I mean, it was awesome. You know.
Skip, I want to thank you so much for doing this today, and we've been waiting to get you on this thing for a long time. EB Dub, we'd love to keep you around for a couple minutes more if you've got the time, but we've had Skip here for a while, and
Skip, trust me.
We'd love to have you back again sometime too, Skip, because there's a million things that even have in my notes that we didn't even touch. But
and I'm sure the listeners are going to ask questions too. So
I'm sure of it. But thank you so much. We've had most of the Jefes on this show, and you were definitely the standout that we hadn't had on yet. And it was great to get your perspective on everything. So thank you for joining MMM Show today, Skip. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. And good luck on all your future projects, because I know people can use your help on them.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Thanks very much, guys. Eric, I'll talk to you. And thanks, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Skip.
Take care.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you, in partnership with Masked Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to lucha-masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
The rest of this podcast is brought to you by Zubaz, the most comfortable pants in the world. Ow.
All right, you guys ready?
Oh, I thought that was part of the show.
No, that's great. Oh, man, shit. Sorry, we are back. Hey, that was an amazing time with Skip Chaisson. I can't believe that he came in and EB Dub came in. And stick around for next week, too, because the rest of that EB Dub interview with just us is going to be next week. And I think you'll be very interested to hear what he says about the possibilities of season 5 and what he thinks about Lucha Underground and some of the things that happened towards the end of season 4 there with all the shenanigans. But man,
hey, there's a part 3.
Yeah, there's more. There's still more. Like, dude, we provide. We
should start charging for this.
We spent hours. Look, we don't have to charge if people get us the correct ball shaving sponsorship. I think you I think you know who you are. And I think that this is where you want to be, because there is a furriness and fuzziness, a robust fuzziness to the underbelly of this show.
I gotta say,
that really needs to be taken care of.
We're fielding offers from all kinds of ball shaving sponsorships. You see, we got that connection to the Mexican ball shaving companies. We've got a little bit of the Japanese Puroresu fucking ball shaving companies. Because you know what, man, summer's coming up, right? And as wrestling fans, the only acceptable beach attire is a Speedo, so you could be like your favorite wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be looking like you're trying to smuggle a couple of tarantulas while you're going to the beach. That's why you need to do a certain kind of trimming. I'm not going to say the name of any of the companies because they're not helping us out yet. But all I know,
landscaping for men.
Well, we will definitely be happy to say those names later. Hey, you know what? I think, I was listening to what you guys were saying when we took the little break before we did this piece and the Lucha Underground review is coming up, guys. But Yeah, you guys were talking about, how hard I was on Kleinrock at the beginning of the show because he's a friend and he got us on the network and he's been a longtime supporter and everything. But I'm still fucking mad. This is some bullshit. I want a fucking public apology. I don't give a fuck what you guys think about what I think about how mean I was. I don't give a fuck about being mean. I'm a mean motherfucker. Ugh.
God, remember when I used to be the mean one? Fuck.
I'm just saying, you guys don't think it's fucked up that like all those other great podcasts got mentioned and we didn't? I mean, I love those shows. I do.
Yeah, I really like how he plugged the ones that aren't in English on the English speaking podcast.
Hey, but that's cool too. You gotta give love to the Spanish broadcast too, which is a cool thing about the Lucha Central Network. And I'll give it up for that. And I think the network is dope.
Yeah. And what I understood from that podcast, because I checked it out, that's a fucking dope podcast. I just understand every fourth word.
Well, it's still fun to listen to.
I thought it was funny how he was like, "Hey, Konnan, you're gonna love this podcast in Spanish," and Konnan was like, "Why would I like that?" Like straight up, like, "What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, what are you trying to imply, man? What you talking about, Willis? All right, so look, Lucha Underground, season 1, episode 4. Having good times. Last time we got the debut of Drago, Pentagon, and Fenix, which was amazing. I'm sorry, Pentagon Jr. He was still going by his AAA moniker and in the regular AAA attire, I believe, right? This wasn't a special costume for Lucha Underground at this point.
He was full like Ninja Pentagon Jr.
Yeah, and in the season so far, we've kind of seen Chavo go full heel, Sexy Star go full superhero. We've seen Mil Muertes and his 1,000 deaths coming to basically decapitate most people across the ring from him. And we've also have we had the debut of Cuerno? We did have the debut of Cuerno already.
That's happening in this one, right?
Oh, that's this one.
Yep.
Meatloaf would know. Meatloaf knows everything Cuerno, Phantasma.
Sorry, you guys. We record too many podcasts, as I've been saying. We're confused a little, but we're okay now. Cuerno.
But the fun thing is, dude, I have to tell you, it is so hard to watch just one episode of Lucha Underground when they're all sitting right there in front of me. I just want to fucking take them all and watch the shit out of them. I even saw DJ posting about it this week. This guy is over there busting his ass making wrestling product, and he's still thinking about fucking Lucha Underground. It's undeniable.
Justin, you forgot the air quotations.
Sorry.
Wrestling
product. Sports entertainment.
I haven't seen DJ tweet about anything.
No, it's not weird at all, Byron. You're fucking blocked. Yeah. Speaking of things that you should follow on social media, go to Skip Chaisson's IG. He's been posting all sorts of great behind-the-scenes photos and stuff from Lucha Underground. He's in a very nostalgic mode about Lucha Underground as well. Who knows what him or Eric Van Wagenen might post in the future, or Roach or DJ. So if you're not following those guys, you might just want to give a little at Skip Chaisson on your IG and just see what he's up to. And then on he's not very, I don't think he's active on Twitter at all, but then on Twitter, follow DJ and Roach and EV Dub and you never know what might pop up.
I heard there's this other guy that's like super behind the scenes and posting all kinds of shit at MPOS Official. I think you should follow that one on Twitter as well.
That's you, Casey.
It's not me. It's I promise you, I'm not running that account, but it is for my other podcast. Follow that. It's full of Lucha Underground stuff. Not really. Not at all.
But it is full of good stuff.
Honestly, though, the next episode coming out has wrestling on it that I have not talked about on this show before.
Ooh.
Although it is all the stuff that inspired Lucha Underground.
Yes.
A lot of it is. All right, so listen, Sexy Star. We've talked recently about how not many people at the beginning of Lucha Underground were allowed to talk on camera, and you've kind of heard that from the Jefes. That they were very careful about it, and which is, I think, smart. A lot of those guys were green or English as a second language. But Sexy Star comes out, and she is allowed to cut an in-ring promo in Spanish at the beginning of this show on Chavo to kind of help villainize Chavo, I think, with the Latino audience. Did it work?
I think as a representative of the Latino audience, yes, it worked.
That's true.
I just mean in general, like, is is having Sexy Star talk on the mic here working at all? I thought, look, my Spanish isn't great, but I thought that even in Spanish, this wasn't the greatest promo. And that when Evie comes out a second later, Evie showed more star quality in her little half a promo, which created literally the baddest bitch in the building thing came from Evie's promo right after Sexy Star.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I really like the Evie promo, so I think that it overshadowed the other one. But also, I was reading subtitles. You know what I mean?
Right. So what were you going to say, Meef?
I was going to say the other thing as well is obviously the crowd was more Duolingo. You know, a lot of the crowd spoke Spanish and could understand Spanish. So for a live crowd, it was brilliant. And also, when you put it onto DVD, Blu-ray, and a network, you can put subtitles on it. So,
I mean, I'll tell you what, like, my Spanish is super mediocre, probably worse than Byron's or Casey's, but at the same time, not much is being said in these promos that's hard for me to follow, whether it be her or Penta or any of the Mexican performers that were in Lucha Underground. I followed almost all of them, and you can tell which ones are good and which ones are a little, iffy.
I mean, we followed Penta's live. You know, we don't have subtitles in person.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that Lucha started doing, and in watching the episodes, even when they are subtitled, I think it just improved that you can do a promo in Spanish for a TV audience that's predominantly English speaking. Like, it still works. I thought Sexy Star's promo, I thought it was good. I thought it worked. I thought she comes out here speaking Spanish. I don't really know Spanish that great, but I knew what she was saying. I got where she was coming from. Of course, Evie, I think, especially at the beginning of Lucha Underground, she's just on fire. She's the one you pay attention to in the room. And of course, she,
I agree.
You paid attention to.
There's a certain, but see, here's the thing. And a lot of people are shitting on Cody Rhodes putting the belt on himself right now in AEW, and how much former WWE talent is kind of rising to the top in a lot of places. But I got to say this, they're also better trained. And Evie didn't even spend a lot of time in WWE, but while she was there, they fucking schooled her ass. And you can see right here the difference between a lot of the other performers and somebody that's come through a little bit of the WWE system in the level of promo that they cut. You see what Chavo was doing in his promos on the show at this point. And a new wrestling program, if they can get some WWE talent, is never going to be hurting for it. As much as I don't want that to be the case, and I want to see the young talent rise to the top and get that time, a veteran is a veteran regardless of where it came from. And you can see right here clearly that even with a small amount of WWE time that Evie had, it shines through in her ability to cut this promo. And even the in-ring work in this match at the time, keep in mind, WWE was still in the Divas era. There was not a women's revolution in WWE at this point. It was starting. You could start to feel it over there. But even with Sexy Star, who's not a great in-ring performer, and Evie, who's also had her misses from time to time, I thought the match that they had at the time especially was still better than what WWE divas were doing.
Mm-hmm. No, this was a pretty good match. I do got to say, though, it's a shame that we're seeing the last of the people, more or less, that were brought through by some of the great producers, because they all got released in this last batch of releases, which sucks because, some of these people we're getting promo work with Dusty Rhodes. Like, holy fuck. Yeah. Like, that's amazing. People are getting in-ring work with fucking Norman Smiley and Fit Finlay and Robbie Brookside and all these great European wrestlers.
All those guys are going to they're furloughed. Like, I don't know technically.
You think they'll be back, like, eventually?
We would want Fit Finlay to be doing the AEW women's division. There's no way.
Yeah. I think what you're going to see now, though, is like AEW is going to have some of those level guys, but then the rest of the business is going to have the Attitude Era guys now, whether they be WCW or WWE as the agents. I mean, and you even saw a little bit of that in Lucha Underground with Chavo and Paul London and some of those guys, and MVP, and those guys were later at the end of the Attitude Era and moving into the Ruthless Aggression Era, or whatever the hell you call that next.
Yeah, but Konnan and Vampiro are like they're
before Attitude Era, actually.
Yeah, but they carried over through it because they were just big stars all the time. It's kind of dope though to think of like the diversity they had agent wise in Lucha Underground, despite being such a small promotion. Yeah, and not even really being a promotion, but being more of a television show.
Mm-hmm. And it's money well spent, though. I mean, you look, when we would go to those tapings, they would do 6 to 7, 8 matches maybe in a day, and typically, one agent had 2 of those matches. Right. Or sometimes just 1, and they could really focus on them, make sure the guys did the right thing. And because of the fact that the show was taped, they could go a little long so the guys could feel out a spot and get to it better. The go home portion of almost every match in Lucha Underground was typically flawless because the guys could build to it the right way. And if they went a little long, they might get chastised in the back a little bit, but at the same time, it would come out great for the show. And the audience there, we didn't mind so much. Like, it would have been bad for live TV on occasions, especially like, some of the wedding and some of the other things that they've done and some of the promo spots that they've tried to do in ring. But I think the editing still was a big part of it, and having great agents in the back was as well.
And I mean, we're talking about Sexy Star, who had the benefit of like retakes in some of her matches too.
Okay, well, let's not talk about Sexy Star anymore. Let's move forward to the first vignette. Dario is telling Drago that the Hunter is coming. Was this a big moment for you, Meef?
I just remembered how Sexy Star had to redo matches in front of people.
Oh, you're so terrible. She did have to redo a few. So, Meatloaf, were you a Phantasma fan before he came in as Cuerno? Or was this what partially did it for? Why do you have 700 Phantasma masks back there that we can see?
I wasn't in wrestling at all. I would literally, not Ultima Lucha, Aztec Warfare was the first wrestling I watched in about 6 to maybe 10 years.
Damn.
I completely had nothing to. I would watch Raw maybe like once a year just to kind of check in. I was up at that time of night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning show here. So literally, like, I had nothing to do with wrestling whatsoever.
So when did you see this match for the first time? Did you go back and watch it back then?
Yeah.
So
I Aztec Warfare was the first. So that was January 2015.
Yeah.
I
like this little teaser promo. I like setting it up for that Dario may be kind of messing with people. I love that about this vignette too, that you're starting to get a little bit of his maniacal edge of like, he doesn't necessarily have any affiliation with Cuerno, but it's like Dario is seeing these guys out there and he's just like, oh yeah, this guy can come and fuck people up around here. And he's just doing it to be kind of maniacal, and because it entertains him, and there's going to be violence involved. And I love that about his character.
Dario just wanted to take a piss and was annoyed that this dragon just keeps hanging out in the fucking bathroom all the time.
All the time.
I love how Drago is so heavily featured early on as a big star, and you could totally see just he's such a big deal.
Well, and I felt that because, like I said before, like Drago was one of the guys that I was most excited was coming to Lucha Underground. He was one of the reasons I was watching. So it didn't feel misplaced to me at all. Like, I wanted to see him on the same level with Chavo and Blue Demon and these guys that were the established names. I felt that he deserved to be there, and seeing him get that early acknowledgement. He wasn't necessarily getting the push in the ring all the time. He still did the job on numerous occasions, but at the same time, it didn't matter because his matches were fire. He was getting promo time, he was getting camera time, and it was dope. Like, I was thoroughly.
I think we're yet to see him win a match at this point from the as far as we got in the series. But still though, it's better than AAA featured him, and he had been there for years. And I was a fan of him as one of the Barrio Boys, even though the gimmick was a little, I thought he was dope. Fucking love the Battery Cat, dog.
Oh, you and the fucking Ever Ready deal.
It's amazing.
Gato Ever Ready. Wow. Tremendous gimmick.
He usually denies that. Denies that gimmick.
I absolutely love the theme song for that gimmick too. And
how's it go, Casey?
How does it go? It goes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Agato Luchador. Agato Luchador. Agato Luchador.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Bring it back.
What does that mean in English?
Cat fighter.
Really? Speaking of in English, the other fascinating thing that should be noted about episode 4 is that not only was there one in-ring promo in Spanish, there were dos. Pentagon gets one as well. And this is amazing because Pentagon gets booed. And the heat that he's getting at this point in time, I don't even feel like it's totally like Rudo heel heat. This was almost like, we don't know if we like you very much kind of heat. And it was pretty amazing for where he got to eventually to see this moment specifically of like, Pentagon is not really on anyone's fucking radar. A lot of people are not caring.
It was on the real G's radar. Like Vic was probably already fucking rocking a Pentagon shirt. Certain people knew what was up, but all of us weren't there yet. That's the problem.
Correctamundo.
Yeah. And, I mean, come on. Like, if you don't like Pentagon, stop listening to this podcast. Go listen to fucking TwitWow. I don't care.
But it pays off. I think it pays off here with the match with Fenix. What do you guys think about the actual in-ring work of just the brothers in there against each other at this point in time?
Dude, okay, so like I loved it. I felt like we're starting to see them become who they are as wrestlers in this match because they did a lot of spots that they still do now, but they did a lot of stuff that didn't quite work that they stopped doing or just wasn't as efficient. Not that it didn't work, but like there's certain shit that they didn't need to do and they kind of cut that out of their playlist. Yeah. And then the stuff that's good, it's still there.
Did Pentagon start saying Chinga tu madre to Fenix in this
not
match?
Not in this match yet. No. Yeah, it's a little later. Yeah.
They still had a little bit of respect for their own mother at this point.
Yeah.
Wait, do they have the same mother?
Yes.
Okay.
They're legit brothers.
Legit brothers do not have the same mother. Like they could just have the same dad.
Yeah,
it's not Blue Demon. It's not Blue Demon.
They're not called the Lucha Half Bros. Fuck.
I thought it was great though. It was really cool to see Pentagon work more of a stereotypical Lucha Libre match. But also like both of them, you're seeing them working more of a traditional match, less geared to their personalities. Like at some point Pentagon just in his career goes more towards hardcore sort of garbage matches where he gets to really make people bleed and he had
already done quite a few of those at that point too,
with Aries and stuff like that.
This does showcase that he knows how to be a great base in a standard Lucha Libre match, but also do some flying himself. Like not a ton, but enough to super keep it exciting.
Dude, the dive that he does in this episode was like one of the official stills that Lucha Underground put out to promote the show. And it must have been my wallpaper on my computer for like 3 years.
You could see Fenix sort of beginning to figure out how to kick people in the head too, but he doesn't really incorporate that into his moveset till later on. So yeah, it's interesting, but it was a good match.
This also has the dive from The Office, doesn't it? You have the big dive from The Office.
That was
last
threat. Yeah, that was in the triple threat last time. Yeah,
which was great. I mean, it kind of set the tone too for some things still to come. So the match, Penta again loses clean here.
Oh god, fucking damn it!
But I know, which was. But at the time, it was exciting to me because Fenix was the one that was new to me. This is exactly what I feel like, people are complaining about that Archer didn't go over on Cody and stuff like that. Like Lucha Underground didn't make that mistake. Like Pentagon was not the guy that needed the rub yet. Fenix really was. And to showcase that, like, hey, we're bringing the new young breed up from Mexico and we're giving them a real shot. This guy's gone over 2 weeks in a row on two great dudes from Mexico as well. This is what Lucha Libre is going to be in Lucha Underground. I think it was the right call.
I agree. I think Pentagon had story going on. And if he's winning all the time, then why is he in the ring complaining?
Losing was part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
part of Lucha's
he starts his journey to become more powerful and go into the cave and do all that stuff. I think it worked for both of them, but that's also like, at this point, Fenix is kind of like the good work rate, luchador.
I gotta say though, this whole Penta Chavo thing that this is leaning to just pays off so beautifully in murdering a wheelchair bound Chavo Guerrero.
Oh yes.
So let's also,
you are my friend, I must kill you.
which I think some of that plays out in the next episode too. But so we get the King Cuerno package, the hunt is on kind of package, and we're really kind of very shortly in one episode, they're really establishing this hunter character that he's going to be hunting down other luchadors in some fashion, which is kind of menacing. You don't really know if he's a Rudo or Technico yet. And anybody who knew Phantasma, I think this was a really unique opportunity for him to come in and kind of inhabit within Lucha Libre, just inhabit a whole nother character at the same time while he was still doing his regular thing in Mexico.
And I love it because Oh, go ahead.
So I was going to say, there's one good thing to notice about this. The mask is based off of, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Mixacoatl.
Hey, pretty good.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that who was basically the Aztec god who had a basically black face with red and white stripes, and he was the god of the hunt,
which was dope. Like I never knew about the headdress thing. That wasn't quite.
People did their fucking research.
His character is very Kraven the Hunter, also, and there's definitely bits from both of those in there. And I think that the fusion makes it perfect for a wrestling character. Like if you just went straight with the god or straight with Kraven the Hunter, it wouldn't feel right. But you put the two together, and you got something special there. But with the right person behind the mask too, you know.
So the great thing is we got these two awesome luchadors from AAA. They're facing off. It's Drago versus Cuerno. There's a bunch of hype on Cuerno for this match, and Drago wins with Casey. What the fuck is this submission?
It's just a move, dog. I don't remember.
Whip of the dragon's tail.
No, the dragon's tail's a pin, man.
That's what he beats him. He beats him with a pin, doesn't he?
This is a pin.
He beats him with the whip of the dragon's tail.
Okay, then it was the dragon's tail. Yeah. It's basically a modified O'Connor roll.
I don't even know. I don't even know if there was a count or if it was a submission or what, because I was too busy with my eyes just like wide open, like what the. And this is probably rewatching this episode. This is probably the 5th or 6th time I've seen this episode and that move. And every time I'm still like, I need to go back and freeze frame it because
it's an O'Connor roll,
sick ridiculousness, and I love it.
If you're, it's like an O'Connor roll if you were a reptile doing an O'Connor roll.
Yeah. I had never seen it before, and I haven't seen it since.
I mean,
you also get the arrow from the depths of hell.
Yes.
So now they don't call it that this time, though. I don't think yet. I don't think they've named it yet, but he definitely does it.
Matt was still in what a maneuver kind of phase right here.
He was calling sling blades Tanahashis.
Yeah.
Well, you know, these things happen.
You know,
see, I would call him Billy Bob Thornton, the true inventor of the move.
I'm gonna get my sling blade.
I'm gonna get my hand around your neck and you're gonna fall down.
The other thing as well, to notice in this match
I sounded like the dude from Ozark that's like the hillbilly crime boss.
Sound like you said that before.
Yeah. Drugs are bad, okay. Anyway, it was a great match. I think that this is, again, another representation of what we were expecting from this show. This is the point in time when I felt like I'm watching this and it's like, okay, these guys actually know what they're doing with this Lucha Underground thing. They're really building something here. I plan on watching all of this all the time. I was working on a show up in in Bend, Oregon at the time, and I was just in the middle of the mountains doing nothing after work. So I would watch these episodes and then rewatch them when they re-aired, and they were absolutely worth it.
Sorry, on the back end of the matches to notice, especially if you were familiar with Phantasm before, was the difference in physicality in this for the character. Because you see people put on a hood. Like, I'm not being funny. We all knew that Puma was Ricochet. Sorry.
What?
It was the same wrestler.
I mean, he had the moveset and everything. Yeah.
But he changed the physicality, just like the way he actually walked, the way he stalked, the way he actually moved around the ring. You see him do that, like, crouched kind of, just like slide. Yeah. And it's just like, that's why he's going to be fucking amazing if WWE didn't fuck it up.
Well, and I think that was part of what set the tone in Lucha Underground as well for people who were going to come in and be different characters. That, Phantasma really was the one that set it up of like, No, you have to inhabit the character. And I will say this on the negative side of HDF is that later down the road, especially when he came back, that I felt like, season 4, that there were times when he was not even realizing it and slipping back into Phantasma too much and not still inhabiting fully the Cuerno-ness. But at the same time, I still loved it. I'm not bagging on the guy too hard.
You know who was still good, who was also good at that, Justin?
Who that is?
Mil Muertes.
Yeah. He's been a lot of places with a lot of faces. So we get a quick vignette with Konnan telling Puma, don't get all up in anybody else's business. Once again, I love the angle of Konnan kind of controlling a young, an up-and-coming wrestler. Whether or not it's for his own good or not, you be the judge. Maybe Konnan knows what he's talking about. Maybe he's stay the fuck out of kids' business. We don't know yet.
He's like, dude, don't hang out with this guy. You'll start doing fucking Pilates and shit. Come on.
And then we get to the big, spectacular, show-stopping main event that's going to have all the wrestling moves that you ever wanted. This is going to top Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. This is going to top any feud that you've ever seen. This is going to be the best wrestling match in history, better than Edge versus Orton. This is going to be Big Rick versus Johnny Mundo.
My notes are nothing. There's nothing on my notes. It's just blank. It just says Rick versus Mundo.
Hey! First of all,
Johnny went through a table.
Big Rick is the shit. First of all,
I didn't say he wasn't, but this is not exactly what I was hoping for when we were talking about Lucha Underground. Let's be honest.
Big Rick was the shit before he wasn't the shit. I mean, there's a specific point we'll talk about when we get to it. We mentioned it in earlier episodes. He also, when he got the eye patch and I was yelling "Tiger uppercut, Tiger knee,"
Tiger.
He had no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
Tiger.
He looked at us like, "What? Huh?
Tiger uppercut,
Tiger knee."
Anyway, look, this was just advancing storyline in my opinion. Again, former WWE talent, Johnny deserved a certain amount of respect in the booking because he was a big name that they managed to bring in and kind of bring out of pseudo retirement for Lucha Underground. So they got to give him the rub. This was the feud they chose for him. Obviously the money that he lost to Big Rick in the first episode or whatever has to kind of play out a little bit. So that's why you're getting this match. And, he goes through a table, crew runs in, blah, 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 blah. Nothing much else to say about it. But hey, look, that's good. We got through 4 episodes and we're feeling good about Lucha Underground. We're getting some Spanish promos now. We're getting some fun Lucha Libre stuff from Penta and Fenix and Drago and Cuerno. So I'm overall pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it was a good show. Great show.
More of this guy. Come on.
Yeah, Penta.
More of both these guys.
So anyway, stick around for next week, guys. We're going to have some more great times with Eric Van Wagenen, Lucha Underground showrunner, not just the executive producer, but the showrunner of Lucha Underground. He was the man. The buck stopped at him.
You told me it was going to be Sid, bro.
No, not Sid. Never Sid. Sorry. Eric Van Wagenen next week, Sid right here on Mass Mats and Mayhem. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, like, review. Please go to those sites. Do all of those things for us because they will help us out. They will help out the entire Lucha Central Podcast Network and our friends at Mass Republic. If you guys go and give these shows the big thumbs up, it really does help. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.